Call the police. For my retirement, I saved $300,000. However, it disappeared with my eldest son's move for some reason. While my second son is arranging for the police, I contacted my eldest son. Then he shouted, "Stop it." I was surprised, but I had already reported it to the police. My name is Kate. I went to New York to work when I was young and had 2 sons. Both of my sons are already adults, and my husband passed away early. I also retired at the age of 60. I had saved $300,000 for my retirement, so I wasn't too worried about my life. However, it was time to think about my future life. In such a situation, Alex, who had been living with his parents all along, decided to move out. Sarah, Alex's wife, had previously complained to Alex that she didn't want to take care of me. I thought I would be told about this someday. I have no intention of being taken care of by Alex's wife. On the contrary, since Alex's wife can't do housework or cooking, I have been doing their share all along. Have you decided on a house? It hasn't been decided yet, but we plan to decide soon. Let me know when you decide on your move. John and the others are going to take us on a trip to celebrate our retirement soon. I understand. I'm saving money now, so I'll leave when I have enough. I reported my eldest son's story to my second son over the phone. In that case, why don't you try installing a security camera or something? If your brothers are gone, you might be more vulnerable to burglars or something. That's right. The news said that elderly people living alone are more vulnerable. Also, this time the trip with my second son and his wife is a little longer. I was worried about leaving the house for a long time. I immediately purchased a security camera that my second son had researched. It seems that it will arrive tomorrow. I never thought it would come in handy later. After hearing about the move of Alex and his wife for a while, there was a consultation about moving expenses from Alex's wife. Mother-in-law, can we borrow some of our moving expenses? Actually, I got fired from my part-time job. If this goes on, we won't have enough money for moving expenses. What did you do to get fired? Please lend me some money. Alex's wife begged me, so I reluctantly agreed and gave them money for moving expenses and enough money to live on after moving. You'll pay me back properly? Yes. Only her response is always good. While cursing Alex's wife in my heart, I wondered if I should tell Alex about it too, but after a few days passed, I asked Alex why he wasn't preparing for his move. Then I learned the shocking truth. I lent Sarah the moving expenses the other day, so can't you move now? Huh? I don't know anything about it. Huh? I was surprised and opened my eyes wide. She said she would pay back after moving. I don't know. How much did you lend? About $3,000. What? You can't pay that back. I'm a temp worker. But Sarah asked me to lend her the money. I couldn't hide my surprise. At that moment, my eldest son's wife returned home. I hurried to the entrance and asked her what happened to the moving expenses. I'm sorry. I used it up, but you have money, so $3,000 is no big deal. That's impossible. What did you use it for? Brand bags and new clothes. The new ones were so cute, but I can't spend money until I find a part-time job. It's okay. I'll pay you back. As soon as I find a job, little by little. I could only be amazed at my eldest son's wife's words. I'm already retired too, so I'll be in trouble if you don't pay me back. Do you understand? I understand. You're so annoying. Is this what they call bullying a daughter-in-law? Oh well, I want to leave this house as soon as possible. My eldest son's wife said nothing but selfish things. I regretted lending her money. Today, John, my second son, was supposed to come over. John has a 1-year-old child. His wife, Sophia, is a hard worker and is currently on maternity leave. They said they would take us on a trip soon, so we were planning to decide on the date. My eldest son hasn't returned from his temp job yet, so only my eldest son's wife and I were at home. Sarah, can you help us today since John is coming over? Me? Huh? I can't cook or anything. I just got my nails done the other day. Then can you set the table or go shopping? John will come over for lunch. Mom likes John more than Alex, doesn't she? That's not true. I just want them to relax since it's been a while since we've seen each other. When I said that, my eldest son's wife looked clearly dissatisfied. I don't intend to rank my children, but since it's been a while since we've seen each other, it's inevitable that we'll be treated a little better. Although there are some difficulties with her personality, I have never made any comments comparing her with Sophia. That should be the case, but my eldest son's wife hates my second son's wife and always picks on her. When my second son and his wife arrived at our house, my eldest son's wife looked at my second son's wife without reservation. "You're dressed so plainly today too. Can't you dress up a little? You're in front of your mother-in-law." She never thought that way before, but it was insidious of her to say such things only now when she wanted to make me look good. "Don't worry about it. She's just in a bad mood." I put in such a follow-up, but my second son's wife looked down apologetically. "She is always being bullied by my eldest son's wife like this." I try to protect my second son's wife as much as possible, but my eldest son's wife doesn't seem to like that either. When I returned to the kitchen, I warned my eldest son's wife. "Sarah, can't you get along better with Sophia? I want to get along with her, but I don't like that woman because she has a gloomy personality. Please stop favoring her more than me." "I didn't mean it that way." "Is it because you have a grandchild?" "Of course, I'm happy that my grandchild was born, but I won't give her preferential treatment just because of that." My eldest son's wife glanced at me and snorted. "Do you understand? Why don't you let that woman help you with this?" "But Sophia has to take care of her children." "Of course, you're giving that woman preferential treatment because she has a grandchild." My eldest son's wife began to sulk and relax with a drink without helping at all. I wanted to say that she wasn't a child, but I held back and let my eldest son's wife do as she pleased. After a while, I heard the sound of my eldest son's wife and my second son's wife arguing. I hurried over there and found my eldest son's wife drunk and trying to grab my second son's wife. My second son was desperately trying to stop her. "What are you doing? I don't like this woman." "What is it because she has children? Are you making fun of me?" Then my second son's wife apologized apologetically. "I'm sorry. I didn't know that my sister-in-law was so concerned about it. I showed her Emma's picture and I'm sorry." "You don't have to apologize. Sarah is strange. She suddenly gets angry and tries to grab Sophia." To summarize each story, the cause of the problem seems to be my eldest son's wife who picked on my younger brother's family. My eldest son's wife, who was drunk, said something incomprehensible to my second son's wife, who got angry when she remained silent. "What? It's not my fault. I don't like this woman or my mother-in-law. I decided to move out and feel refreshed." My eldest son's wife shouted and started throwing dishes and glasses at random. I hurriedly kept my second son's wife and grandchild away from my eldest son's wife, and my second son tried desperately to restrain her. Then my eldest son came home and was stunned by the state of the room. It was supposed to be a long-awaited visit by my second son and his wife, but it turned out like this. Afterwards, my eldest son took care of his wife for a while, and the situation calmed down for the time being. While cleaning up the messy room, my second son's wife looked apologetic. There were some arguments since they came to visit, but they finally decided on their travel schedule without any problems. Since my second son's family left with a smile on their faces, I felt relieved even though I might not be able to see them again due to what happened earlier. I called my second son's family, who had just returned home, and explained the situation. My second son's family agreed with me and kindly agreed to help with the move. Today was the day when my eldest son and his wife moved out. After seeing them off, I returned to the living room. Actually, I was planning to go on a trip with my second son's family tomorrow. "Thank you. I hope those two can settle down now." "It's okay. I really hope so." While the second son and his wife were taking a break after being served tea and snacks, I returned to my room and began preparing for my trip. Traveling would cost a lot of money. Thinking so, I opened the drawer containing my savings passbook, which I had been saving for my retirement. When I did, I was speechless. Oh no. When I rushed down to the living room, the second son and his wife looked at me in surprise. My savings. The deposit passbook that I had been saving for my retirement is gone. In my words, the second son and his wife were surprised and opened their eyes wide. A thief? When did it happen? What should we do? As I panicked, the second son's wife asked me fearfully. How much was in it? $300,000. In my words, the second son and his wife froze. Call the police. It must be a thief. I shouted at the second son, who quickly took out his cell phone. Then, what about the eldest son's family? They moved without knowing that a thief had entered our house. If something was missing, they would be in trouble over there. I called my eldest son. Alex. A thief. A thief broke into our house. I didn't notice at all, but did anything get stolen from you? Make sure to check when you unpack. Huh? What do you mean? My deposit passbook is missing. There was $300,000 in it. Your father had been saving it for retirement. I've already contacted the police. As I pleaded desperately with him, Alex let out a loud huh after a brief pause. $300,000. Is that true? Yes. Your father had been saving it for retirement since he passed away. I've already contacted the police. As I explained this to him, he let out a surprised voice. Wait. No way. That's... As Alex panicked, the second son's wife spoke up to me. I'm sorry to interrupt your conversation. This house has security cameras installed, right? In your room. That's right. It was installed in that room too. Why don't you check it? When she said that to me, I quickly took out an old computer from my closet. I didn't know how to use a computer in detail, but it was difficult to operate with a cell phone when looking at security cameras. So the second son gave me an old computer. I entrusted that computer to his wife. After operating the computer with practiced hands, she was surprised and speechless. Seeing her reaction like that made me suspicious, so I looked into the screen. There was. At that time, Alex's voice echoed from the other end of the phone line that had been left on. I heard my eldest son's desperate plea, no, don't call the police. Sarah will be suspected of something weird, as I was losing my mind. 30 minutes later, my eldest son returned in a hurry. I was boiling with anger in front of my eldest son's family. Did you already call them? It's just a misunderstanding. I'll explain, so please don't call the police. I'm sorry, I've already reported it. More importantly, can you explain what happened? As I said that, my eldest son looked at his wife with an embarrassed expression. His wife didn't show any remorse and turned away. I felt angry at her for that. I heard that you received this as a gift. More importantly, if you call the police, Sarah will be arrested. I'll return this, so can you forgive us? My eldest son said that and handed me the passbook. The moving expenses and apartment fees had already been deducted from it. This was what his wife meant by doing something about it. The security camera clearly showed my eldest son's wife taking the passbook from my closet. This is my retirement money. Why did you take it without permission? As I pressed my eldest son's family for an answer, his wife standing next to him snorted and claimed it was natural. I've been treated badly here. I thought I'd take this as compensation. You've never been treated badly. We've never forced you to do anything for the house, and you've had 3 meals a day. What are you dissatisfied with? As I said that, my eldest son's wife blushed and rolled her eyes. I've suffered more mental anguish than my second daughter-in-law. It was hard to be asked to come to the house and show off my grandchild. My eldest son's wife made such a delusional claim. I still couldn't forgive her. Taking someone else's property without permission is what thieves do. Do you understand that? I lived in this house too, so it's mine too. It's terrible to call me a thief. My eldest son's wife started crying as she said that. Please forgive me, Mom. She pleaded with me. Does she think she can be forgiven after doing something like this? Even against my careless eldest son, anger began to well up inside me. My second son, who had been listening to our conversation, slammed his desk and stood up. You've been saying whatever you want since earlier. My second son glared at his brother's wife with an angry face. You've been taken care of by Mom all this time, so why are you acting like that? As far as I can see, Mom has treated you well too. My brother, tell her when something was wrong. She's your wife. The second son was still angry and looked at the eldest son. The eldest son swallowed hard and broke out in a cold sweat. It can't be helped. I didn't know. You didn't know? Why weren't you paying attention? It's because you're not doing your job that she's acting like this. Besides, this is Mom's house, not Sarah's house. It's impossible for her to take it as she pleases. The second son said that and pointed at the eldest son's wife. The eldest son's wife looked at the second son with a disgusted expression. What a mama's boy. Is it my fault? You're so cheeky for a brother-in-law. It's obviously your fault. You've been dissatisfied with Sophia all along. Why should my wife be insulted by someone like you? Do you know how much Sophia has suffered? The second son's momentum was so great that she turned away and hung her head. To calm down the second son, his wife quickly spoke up. The second son became a little calmer, but he still glared at the eldest son's wife. I'm sorry. It's true that I let Sarah do whatever she wanted. And even if I said something, she wouldn't listen anyway. The eldest son said that and bowed his head. The eldest son's wife pressed him to take her side, but he just shook his head. How terrible. I thought you would take my side. Stop it. It's a fact that she stole it. When the eldest son said that, the eldest son's wife knocked over a nearby vase and turned away in a bad mood. Then the police rushed in, apparently startled by the loud noise. They subdued the rampaging eldest son's wife and turned to us. I looked away from the police and glanced at the security camera. The police saw it and confirmed that the eldest son's wife had stolen the passbook before taking her into custody. Alex, say something. Help me. It's no use. Why are you saying that? She's too selfish. Why did this happen? I can't cover for her anymore. The eldest son said that and looked away from his wife, hanging his head. Let's get divorced. When she heard those words, the eldest son's wife stopped moving in shock and stopped resisting. Wait, Alex, is it okay? I was warning her at first, but she wouldn't listen. She ignored me when it was inconvenient for her. And then this happened. I can't take it anymore. I can't keep going with her like this. The eldest son was also troubled. Knowing that, I couldn't bring myself to blame him. Perhaps because he was my own son. The eldest son saw Sarah off as she was taken away by the police and sat down in a dejected manner. Afterwards, it was revealed that Sarah had apparently committed marriage fraud as well. The eldest son was shocked to learn this again. Sarah is said to be unable to avoid imprisonment. And then, the eldest son got divorced. The eldest son's wife had to pay back the money for the marriage fraud and compensation to the eldest son. The eldest son offered to take on part of his sister-in-law's repayment of marriage fraud. The reason was that he wanted to make amends for not being able to stop his sister-in-law strongly enough. I went on a trip with my second son and his wife. I had a great time spending long hours with my young grandchild. Now I'm living with my eldest son again. He has set a goal of quitting his temporary job and working as a full-time employee because he has debt to repay. I'm happy to feel that my unreliable eldest son is growing up little by little.